In cinema, a sequel rarely surpasses the original. This holds true for most Gundam anime as well. However, I believe that Bandai has just made not only one of the best Gundam sequels, but an amazing movie in general. Is it perfect? Of course not. I will talk about all the positives and negatives of the movie so you can decide for yourself if it's worth spending your money to watch it in theaters. Watch till the end to see why Gundam Hathaway, Witch of Nymph Circe is a must-watch for all Gundam fans. Hi guys, Oki here. This is the second ever Gundam movie review on the channel. My first was for Iron-Blooded Orphans Hunt movie, which I watched in theaters and was thoroughly disappointed with. Watch right here. Ever since the first film dropped, I've been eagerly waiting for part 2 to come to theaters. As soon as I secured my ticket, I transcended mundane affairs and became geeky herself. See it ASAP. I wrote down all my thoughts as soon as I exited the theater, so let me share them with you guys right now. Let's go! Everything I talk about in this video will be spoiler free, so no need to worry if you're still waiting to watch it. The movie picks up right when the last film left off, with a brief recap to catch viewers up. As part 2 of the trilogy, watching part 1 beforehand is essential, since many characters and motivations carry over. Without it, the movie may be confusing. While more recap could help, it would likely slow the movie down too much, so definitely watch part 1 before jumping into part 2. Now, some people may be curious, do I need to watch the entirety of Universal Century to understand this movie? I'd say yes and no. While it is important to understand the background between how Earth Federation became as corrupted as it did in Hathaway, as well as the fates of Amuro and Char after Char's counterattack, you can still enjoy this movie without knowing any of that. Of course, you'll miss out on crazy fan service moments at the end of the film, which call back to characters and moments that now have become iconic in the Gundam universe. However, the movie does a good job with telling its own narrative, such that you can enjoy it as a movie itself. Those of you who watched Char's counterattack and part 1 will know that the loss of Quest still haunts Hathaway till this day, and this movie explores that in depth. I found it very interesting how Hathaway is caught between the web of 3 different love interests, and the balance between trauma and human connections that results from it. The end of the first movie saw Mafty narrowly escaping Kenneth's forces after Hathaway made the grave mistake of simping for Gigi too hard during a mission. It left off with Mafty learning that there are allied resistance forces gathering in Owenbelly, Australia, with Hathaway intending to rescue them from being annihilated by the Feddies. This movie goes deep to set up Mafty and Kenneth's motivations, as they both race to outsmart each other to either destroy or protect the Adelaide Conference. Note the setup part. Yes, this movie is almost 90% setup and 10% payoff. The majority of the movie is all character-based moments, as we jump between Hathaway and Killia's failing relationship to Gigi and Kenneth's stance of hidden agendas. We learn much more about Hathaway's past trauma, his motivations for risking everything for Mafty, and even get glimpses into Gigi's backstory. If you came in expecting non-stop mobile suit battles though, you may be disappointed. The film is mostly a slow burn character drama building towards its finale rather than a fast-paced action thriller. For those who watched it, did you enjoy the slower pace or did you find it boring? Let me know in the comments below. One issue I had is that while the structure is similar to the first movie, the film felt more engaging due to the intense psychological tension between Hathaway, Gigi, and Kenneth. Hathaway and Gigi's dynamic was also a highlight, but we get much less of it here since they spend most of the story apart. Overall, this movie mainly sets up the trilogy's final confrontation, with few large-scale battles or major action scenes. If the slower setup-focused approach doesn't click for you, it may feel like an awkward middle chapter. A complaint some people had about the first film was that most of the action was concentrated in the last few minutes of the film. Without spoiling anything, I can tell you that this movie is pretty much the same. In fact, we actually have even less action in the first film, since we at least had a fairly lengthy hotel heist in the middle to break things up. Regardless, I enjoy the character drama and learning about the backgrounds of all the mysterious characters in the first film, but some of you may find the majority of the movie a bit slow. However, for me, it was perfectly paced. I thought the slow storytelling parts of the movie greatly contributed to character development, which made the conflicts more impactful. One thing that really impressed me from the first film was animation. Every small expression on each character's face is animated to near perfection, and human movements are as smooth as it can be. The environments and backgrounds are also super vibrant and detailed, and blend perfectly to blend into the world building of the film. This movie keeps up that quality and delivers even more goodness as we escape the confines of the Vow to witness various environments. From Matthew's ship sailing through the vast ocean to the rocky surface of Australia, there were not a single scene that left me wanting more. One small complaint though, the lighting in this movie gets so dark. Perhaps because it was meant for an IMAX screen, but in regular theater, some scenes are barely lit up, and I had a really hard time trying to make out who is talking or what they're doing. Did anyone else have a similar issue? As for the big elephant in the room, the CGI mobile suits from the first movie returns. While I do miss classic 2D Gundam, the movie does a good job with animating the movements and poses, so it didn't bother me. This lends itself to a big selling point of the movie, which were the POV shots of the battles from inside the cockpits. I love this from the first film. The Sorcery of Circe did not disappoint. You get placed right in the middle of the action as you see bullets and missiles flying by, made perfect by the surround sound system in the theaters. I really felt the impact of each hit, and loved how chaotic the action became, as mobile suits became distant blips on the monitor, which can only be tracked with the lock-on symbols on the heads-up display. I even loved the warning sounds as mobile suits are in danger of collision. Bloop bloop, bloop bloop. I will point out that this wasn't as noticeable in part 1 since most of the action takes place during nighttime, but in this movie, as some set pieces are during the day, you'll notice some stiff and awkward movements in the 3D model, as well as certain mobile suits moving too smoothly, lacking impact or feeling of scale. In some shots, it felt like I was watching a video game cutscene instead of a full-fledged movie. What did you guys think about this? So, if you're a huge Gundam nerd like me, this is a quintessential part of the movie. Without going to spoilers, there isn't really too much in the way of brand new mobile suits in this film. As I mentioned, we spend the majority of the movie focused on the characters, and there is really only one noticeable new MS addition. I'm sure we've all been spoiled by Bandai already, so I'll just talk a little bit about the Alyzeus. It's essentially a combination of a mobile suit that mimics the exterior of the Penelope, but has no Minovsky flight system and makes up for it by having giant boosters all over its body. I found it really cool how it contrasts with the elegant gliding of the Xi as they battle it out in the sky. I won't talk too much of its performance in the film, it's definitely one of the highlights, so you deserve it to see it for yourself. There is also a surprise cameo from a MS from Char's counterattack. Let me know if you caught it! At the end of the first film, we get a brief introduction to a lot of very interesting supporting crew on Hathaway's ship. This movie gives them a lot more time to shine, but it's still focused on our main pairings. The majority of the movie is spent depicting the declining relationship between Hathaway and his longtime girlfriend Kilia, while Kenneth and Gigi go off to do their own thing. In terms of Hathaway, we get a way deeper glimpse into his psyche and his past traumas, including his inner monologues with the ghosts of Char's counterattack. I really love how locked in he gets at the end of the movie, as he gets a taste of the real loss and takes on a greater responsibility towards his team and casting away his lover boy, sad boy self. Gigi is definitely a standout character of the movie and we get to spend a lot of time with her. We get to see the extent of her new type premonitions and how they change the fate of battle for either side. We also get to see her spend a lot of time on so-called mundane things, contrasting with Hathaway's life and death struggles on the other side of the world. She reminds me of a blend of Lala, Flu 12, and Quest, and I honestly love it. I love the dynamic of all of these characters as their stories get intertwined by the pending war. I love how they all feel super realistic in their dialogue, motions, and facial expressions. I honestly forgot I was watching an anime in some scenes. There are some character deaths that happen off screen near the end, which I thought was weird. But apparently that's what happened in the novel as well, so I guess you can say that it's a faithful adaptation. Fortune the Cat is a new addition who wasn't in the novels, and he survives some of the events that happened to Matthew. Is this the director hinting at a new different ending in part 3 of the novel? Overall, the characters are super solid and I got no complaints. I won't lie, this may be one of the best soundtrack in any Gundam movie ever. From the super iconic orchestral scores of Unicorn to the unforgettable J-pop melodies of Seed, However, Hathaway's Flash takes it to a whole other level with some of the finest music I've ever heard in any movie, not just anime. Sawano Hiroyuki, who composed for Unicorn, Narrative, and Hathaway Part 1, returns to deliver an awe-inspiring melody of hit after hit in this movie. Keen listeners will recognize the classic Xi and Penelope themes returning in action scenes, but updated to fit the darker atmosphere of Part 2. However, where this movie truly shines is in all of the special tracks produced or chosen just for this film. As most of you already know, Bandai decided to license 2 English songs for the movie, Snooze by SZA and Sweet Child O' Mine by Guns N' Roses. I was really surprised by this move at first, and to be honest, I wasn't really into it. I thought Snooze didn't fit the themes of the movie at all. But after watching everything though, I think I get it. Without spoiling everything, I can say that these songs were fine choices which gave the scenes they were used in a whole new meaning. It's really rare that we get an anime film which embraces other cultures, especially in terms of the music. Do you guys know any other examples? Let me know in the comments. In addition, Kawakami-san of Alexandros returns to deliver one of the best insert songs along Senarin in Enroll. I love how it set the tone for the rest of the movie, and was certainly surprised at which scene it was chosen for. I just say that it wasn't for the same romantic couple I thought it was going to be for. Even before the movie was announced for North America, I was listening to Senarin's Lost and Found album on repeat. Since the songs are so good! Did anyone else become a big fan of hers after the movie like I did? I was a big fan of Senko from the first movie, and Part 2 didn't disappoint. Overall, if you love the soundtrack from Part 1, you'll be thoroughly delighted with this movie, so please go watch it. Alright guys, those are my immediate thoughts after watching the movie. Overall, I think it's such a love letter to classic Universal Century Gundam, and if you love everything Gundam stands for, you'll love this movie too. I couldn't talk about certain juicy parts of the movie to keep it spoiler free, but let me know in the comments if you'd like a full analysis of the movie and comparing it to details from the novel. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Please let me know what you thought of the movie yourself. Please subscribe to Oki if it's your first time here, and like the video to help me produce more just like this. Thank you so much to my channel members, Haro Squad, and Ultimate Coordinators. You guys are my gods of victory. I plan on putting out more Gundam PCG and Gunpla content real soon. See you guys next time. Bye bye. Love you guys. Let me just make a heart real quick. I love you guys. Thank you for the support.